The following program is sponsored. The opinions and statements made by the hosts and guests do not necessarily reflect the views of WBOB or its parent company, the Chesapeake Portsmouth Broadcasting Corporation.
It's time for Real Estate Radio with Angela and Howard. Angela and Howard talk about what's new in real estate and answer your buying and selling questions. To participate in today's show, call 222-TALK. That's 222-8255. And now, here are Angela and Howard.
Good morning.
I don't hear you on the microphone. I hear me on the microphone.
How about this one?
Oh, now I hear you.
I can hear me. Okay, I got to start over.
Okay, go ahead.
Good morning, Northeast Florida. I hope everyone's doing fantastic on this beautiful, bright blue skied Saturday.
You know, it's not going to rain today?
That's not what I heard. Is that what you heard?
I don't think it's going to rain today.
Okay, cool.
That is my prediction here on Real Estate Radio with Angela and Howard.
Are you like a meteorologist or something?
No.
Do I have to listen to
No,
what
but
you're
I
saying?
can spell it.
Oh.
Does that put me halfway there? That I can spell it?
Not at all. Cody and I are both going, no.
And
what are you talking
when
about?
I learned to be a pilot, I had to learn a lot about weather.
Oh, of course. Yeah. Pilots need to know that.
Yeah. We hope that everybody had a great weekend, an Independence Day weekend, perhaps even a 4-day weekend. Maybe even some people took the whole week off.
Oh,
Wouldn't that be great? Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. What a strange week we had.
Little bit.
In the manner of a lot of M's, a multiple offer mania week. So we're going to talk about multiple offers, not only for buyers, but for sellers. Yeah. We tell you about these not because we think they're interesting, not only because we think they're interesting, but also because they may be a learning experience for you if you ever plan on buying or selling in the future. So we had several of them this week.
Well, you need to think about that. So that is an indication of what the market is like right now. So whenever it's a seller's market, what that means is there's not enough homes in the marketplace for buyers to choose from. So we have more buyers than we have sellers willing to sell. And when that happens, there's more people trying to get that same house, and then you get this multiple offer situation. And you got to treat it way different.
Yeah.
Way different.
So we're going to tell you about 3 of them that occurred, and the result is different in all of them. So we told you about one of the properties on the show last Saturday. It was one of our listings that turned out to be a flip. Our investor seller who lives in New York purchased a property here in Northeast Florida, and he wanted to sell it originally as is. Well, Angela and I convinced the owner to fix it up and sell it for a much higher profit. So fix it up we did, and it looks fantastic. Anyway, in the first 2 days on the market, 16 showings and ultimately 3 written offers, and all of the offers were above the list price. Yeah. And 2 of them were cash offers.
Right.
Now, the highest cash offer was accepted, but we didn't quite finish the signing. Now comes the interesting twist. Right at the last minute, the buyer, again, cash buyer, decided that they didn't want to pay cash. Rather, they wanted to finance the purchase with a mortgage, even though they could pay cash. See, they had just sold their property and closed on it, so they were like homeless. And they came from another state here to pick out a home here in Jacksonville. So now their offer isn't as desirable to the seller anymore, and they lost the deal. And Angela is going to go over a little bit later why cash is not as where a mortgage is not as good as cash. But anyway, back to this situation. So their offer isn't as desirable, and our seller says, So their realtor should have advised them to purchase the home for cash and then immediately refinance it with a mortgage.
Right.
Then they would have been the best offer, and they would have gotten their house the house that they wanted.
Yep.
I bet the seller wished that they had used us as a realtor to give them that advice. So instead, they left town without buying a home and now have to make another trip to Jacksonville to find another home.
Well, first, let me say, I think their realtor did try to get them to do the cash. They just felt more comfortable getting a mortgage. So, you have to recognize that when you're negotiating, there are things that are to your advantage, and you should listen to your professional. There's no point in having a realtor on your side if you're not going to do what they say. And this is a prime example of someone who outbid everybody else but didn't get the house. And it's because they changed their financing, went from cash to financing midstream. That was theirs. Their realtor had advised them to use cash.
Okay.
So they could have had the house. That was on them.
So let's go to the next situation, which was one of your customers as a buyer.
Oh, yeah. So in another interesting would-be multiple offer situation, I had a customer that had found the perfect home. It actually came on the market on Wednesday night, and I had an appointment scheduled first thing in the morning and then showed it to my buyer, around 11 o'clock or 11:30, something like that. And then what I knew, and he knew, the second we walked inside, and I'd been showing him property for days, so, we knew, was that it was perfect for them in every respect. The size, the location, the style of the home. It was brick construction.
And he wanted that?
He did.
Okay.
The number of garage spaces was 3. He needed that. It was a gated community. It had a caged pool, a screened enclosure. The price that he wanted, his distance to work, even 3 acres of land that he wanted.
So it was in a gated community with 3 acres, and he wanted all of this stuff that you just read off.
Everything.
Okay.
No, even more interesting, he wanted chickens. And there was a chicken coop already there with chickens running around the yard.
So the community allowed chickens. It already had it. So all of this stuff he wanted.
It was the omen, right? Like, you should just run to the office and write the contract.
And it came on the market Wednesday night. You saw it Thursday.
At 11. Early.
So like the first day.
Yeah.
Okay.
First day. So it was by like 3 o'clock that we had ruled out all the other properties because his wife wasn't with us. She wanted us to go see everything still.
Okay.
And so we did that. And then by 3 o'clock, we were planning on writing a full price offer. And so we went to the Watson office nearby and we wrote the offer and then called the listing agent. And they said, we've already accepted an offer. And I'm like, what? How is that in the best interest of your seller? It is not.
Wait a minute. This is the first day.
Yep.
And the seller and the seller's agent knew that there were people looking at the house that day.
He told me 7 to 8 people
were looking at the house.
And he accepted the first offer.
That doesn't make any sense.
That's not a good realtor. It's not. He should have waited for all of the offers to happen, all the showings to happen, and then asked, is anybody else going to make an offer, and done the highest and best, because this is a extremely competitive market.
Without even a phone call to you asking if your prospective buyer was interested, and calling all the other agents to say, hey, we have an offer. Yep. Are any of your buyers interested?
Yep.
Well, indeed, your buyer was interested.
Oh, yeah.
And what was the result? The seller probably lost out on a higher purchase price.
Well, I have heard that they didn't accept a full price offer, and we were going to write a full price offer. So they lost. But again, shame on the realtor for not waiting until all the showings happened and slowing the process down to make sure that the seller got the best offer.
My goodness.
Yep.
Hey, when we come back, we're going to tell you about a third multiple offer situation involving one of our customers that had a totally different result. Another interesting learning experience for everybody. And we're going to tell you, oh, by the way, all the things that people consider with an offer that buyers consider when there are multiple offer situations. So we got all kinds of things to talk about. We also have another segment on Bet You Didn't Know, things that your home inspector does not check on. Bet you didn't know.
Well, you're about to know.
You're about to
'Cause
know
we're gonna
because we're
tell
going
you.
to tell you here on Real Estate Radio with Angela and Howard. So stay with us, everybody. Call us with your questions, and we will be right back. Hey, WBOB listeners, it's your realtor on the radio, Howard Vergalis of Watson Realty Corp. Angela and I don't just do the radio show, we are active realtors. When it's time to buy, we will interview you to determine your specific housing needs. Distance to work, style of home, school needs, distance to place of worship, kids' activities, lifestyles, number of bedrooms, budget, and so much more. In short, we do our very best to find you your perfect home. We won't waste your time showing you houses that don't fit your needs. Whether you're moving up, moving into your first home, or now an empty nester, you can trust us for the most important purchase of your life. It's what we do. It's what we'll do for you. Experience the Angela and Howard Team Advantage. Call us at 421-7950.
Is there something going wrong with your garage door or opener? My name is Peter, and I am the owner of Quality Door Service. And my basic garage door repair starts at just $125, and that includes parts. Included with your repair, I will instruct you about fire and safety, protection from hurricane and burglary, and maintenance on your garage door. Call me today at 588-4817. That's 588-4817. Angela and Howard did.
Are you buying a property being sold by HUD? As a buyer, you can select Watson Title Services of North Florida as your settlement agent. Avoid having to deal with out-of-town companies, and make sure you get the world-class customer service of Watson Title Services that Angela and Howard have come to expect. Call them at 461-3220 when you're looking at buying a HUD property to ensure your purchase goes through as smoothly as possible. That's 461-3220. Angela and Howard do.
There's finally a mortgage lender in Jacksonville that sees financing differently. With 20 years' experience, CMG Financial understands that the most important purchase in your life, your home, deserves the right mortgage. Tim McConnell at CMG Financial will work to customize the best financing option for you. Angela and I recommend CMG Financial to all our customers. Give Tim a call at 528-2103. That's 528-2103. CMG Financial is a registered trade name of CMG Mortgage, Inc., NMLS number 1820, and licensed as a mortgage lender servicer by the Office of Financial Regulation, number MLD 375, individual MLS number 181046.
This segment of Real Estate Radio with Angela and Howard is brought to you by CMG Financial. For answers to your North Florida real estate questions, call into the show at 222-TALK. That's 222-8255.
Everybody, welcome back, everybody. We are so happy to be here today. We're having fun in the studio.
Yeah, it was multiple offer mania this week.
You're so funny.
Oh, yeah?
You and all your little words and phrases you like to use.
How about that?
How about that?
So we were talking about what happened this week with multiple offers, and we told everybody about two very different scenarios.
Yeah.
But we actually had a third. And by the way, these are not made up. These really did happen this week.
This really was our week.
Yeah.
I felt like I was writing contracts and contracts and contracts and...
So,
Wow.
So that happened to you. The last one happened to you on Thursday. And while you were doing that one, I was doing another one. So the
Right.
third multiple offer situation involved one of our buyers as well. And this one is actually still in process. This one occurred also on Thursday for a house that also came on the market on Thursday. So in other words, hot market for good houses. Okay.
Hot, hot, hot.
So I showed the house, and again, this was exactly what the customer had been looking for. This is a house that happens to be in Callahan,
Right.
and it's on 1 acre, and it, again, exactly what our customers were looking for, 1 acre. And by the time we looked at it, which was at 5 o'clock, they had, I think, 2 or 3 other people looking at it. And when we called the listing agent, they said that they had 2 written offers already and possibly a third. So here's what the listing agent has said. They said they're calling the realtors and asking realtors to submit what is called highest and best offers. So they're notifying the agents and saying, hey, we have multiple offers. So they're asking each of the realtors to tell their customers, hey, we have other offers, so please submit, tell us, is this your best offer? And if not, give us your highest and best, okay? And those are due today, Saturday at 5 o'clock. So,
Right.
of course, we went back to our customer and said,
Yep.
do you want to keep your offer, which you can? Do you want to say, hey, I don't want to be in a bidding war, or do you want to increase your offer? Now, the broker then is going to prepare a spreadsheet
Yep.
of all of the pertinent facts, and then it'll be presented to the seller, and then the seller will decide. Now, hopefully,
I have to tell you, I really love, we're with Watson Realty. And I really love Watson because Mr. Watson is like one of the most ethical people you'll ever meet. And that stuff just trickles down. Like you have to walk that walk or you don't get to work there. So, the broker of that office, he is going, when he makes that spreadsheet, it doesn't have anybody's name on it. He's not putting on there which agent it's from, like if it's a Watson or a Exit or Remax or so. It's very fair to the seller. The seller just looks at their bottom line. Like, what do these terms mean to them? And I love that. That doesn't happen at all companies.
yeah. Now, let's talk about that bottom line, because you may be thinking that there are only a couple of pertinent facts like price and whether it's cash or getting a mortgage. But let's talk about that. What you may be thinking, well, what's the difference? At the closing table, the seller gets the money. So what's the difference whether it's a cash purchase or the buyer is getting a mortgage? So, Angela, let's talk about that.
Okay. So here's the thing. Cash is king. Probably everybody's heard that, right? So if someone's paying cash, you can count on cash. If I can get a statement from that buyer showing they have cash in their bank or cash that's in some sort of investment that they can cash out, whatever, they're good to go, right? So I know they are. The only thing you have to do with a cash buyer is make sure the binder is large enough that they're not going to walk away. Because people who have cash think about money differently than people who don't. So, where some people might not be able to walk away from $3,000, cash buyer will. If somebody needs to walk away from $5,000, someone getting a mortgage, that's a lot of money to them. Cash buyer, they might walk away. So you get a higher binder when you're taking a cash offer. That's pretty much all you really need to think about on that one. On the mortgage side, however, it gets a little more complicated, right? Because you got to see what kind of mortgage they're getting and how much money they're putting down. So, for instance, recently, like this week, we submitted an offer where the customer is putting down 65%. That's a lot, right? So the bank is not going to have a hard time financing them. Additionally, we have another one where the customer's putting down 70%. He just wants a $100,000 mortgage, So that's going to be easy for the bank. They're going to just go, okay, yeah. So, the appraisal's not as important when people are putting down a lot of cash in the mortgage. So you got to look at all the terms. So when someone's got like a VA loan, the VA loan has stricter guidelines than the conventional loan does. And in the VA loan, buyer's not putting down any money.
How about the situation where they ultimately, right before closing, the mortgage company does another credit check and sees, these people just bought a new car.
Yes.
And now they can't qualify for the mortgage.
Yes.
So
credit is, this interesting kind of fluid, vehicle that banks are measuring people by their credit, right? By their ability to buy and their ability to repay. So, getting a mortgage is a great thing to do, and most people do it. Most of the deals are that way. But if you're in a multiple offer situation, you need to put your best cards on the table if you want that house.
that's why cash is always better.
If you really want it, right. So, even like if you, like we have one where our customer has their house on the market for sale and it's under contract and it's going to close. So we're good. We're through inspections. Everything's done. And I could easily write it in the contract that it's subject to that house closing. But the truth is they can buy the other house they're trying to buy without the funds from that sale. So why would I tangle up his offer and make it not look as strong when he doesn't really need it to sell for him to buy?
Well, good. So you covered actually some of the things I want to talk about next, which is the
Because
other.
I'm like that.
Because you're good.
I'm really thorough.
You're good. Which was one of, we said that the broker is going to put together a spreadsheet of all of the things to consider when there are multiple offers. So it's not just cash or whether the person is getting a mortgage. It's many other things. So, Angela, you mentioned type of loan. So it is, is it a VA loan or not? Because a VA loan, for example, has higher restrictions on, how many years the life of the roof is.
Absolutely.
So,
absolutely.
And also you mentioned the amount of the down payment. So maybe somebody's putting down $3,000, another person's putting down $20,000. That's
Exactly.
a consideration. The amount of the deposit. The down payment, deposit, those are two different things.
Yeah.
Also, the closing date
We recently
selected.
had someone in a multiple offer situation offer to put down $100,000 as their deposit.
They really wanted that house.
What?
Yeah.
Don't do that. You don't need to do
They
that.
really wanted that house.
That's great.
Also, the closing date selected, because some people want to close 60 days from now. Some people want to close
3 weeks from now.
in 3 weeks. Now,
So that would impact the seller a lot, right? Like, is the seller ready to go? Is the house vacant? Does the seller need time to find a place to go? All of these points you're talking about, Howard, they're all really specific to the seller. It's what the seller wants and what the seller needs.
correct. Also, who's paying closing costs? So sometimes a buyer needs closing costs, so they'll ask the seller to pay for closing costs. Well, what if the other offer is not asking that?
What if the other offers cash, right? Because what's the difference in cash closing cost and getting a mortgage closing cost? On the cash closing cost, a buyer can come to the closing table with, through the whole deal, less than $700.
How about whether?
But if they're getting a mortgage, it's going to cost them 3% just in the lender's fees.
How about if one of the offers is asking for repairs, or if there's a limit on repairs? Also, if there are appraisal contingencies. In other words, must the house appraise for what
Right.
the offer is?
Right.
Yeah, or whether the offer is asking for any personal property. Like usually the refrigerator's covered, but sometimes people are asking for washers and dryers. Some people, they're asking for drapes. Sometimes they're even asking for furniture. We have a house where they're asking for the pool table.
Yeah.
Now, usually pool equipment is normal, so that's not a big negotiable
pool.
item. Yeah.
Yeah. But the listing agent we talked to last night said they asked for the seller's truck. I was like, what?
Yeah, that's a little that's a
over
little
the
cray
top.
cray.
That's ridiculous.
Also, whether they're asking for a home warranty, and sometimes if the roof is old, the buyers will ask for a new roof to be put on. So these are all of the things that we typically see. Well, not typically, but that we could see on an offer that may differentiate your offer from somebody else's. So these are all the things that we help to negotiate, whether on the buying side or the selling side. So when there are multiple offer situations, these are all the things that go on a spreadsheet that help the seller determine which offer to accept.
Well,
And
yeah,
that's why you need a realtor. So if you're trying to sell your house on your own, oh my gosh, how are you going to, decide all this stuff? You need someone. That's why we're the problem-solving realtors, because we help you do this.
This is right.
Yeah.
That's true.
What were you going to say? I interrupted you. Sorry about that.
Always interrupt me.
What do you got to say about that?
Well, you think I remember now?
I don't know.
I
Anyway,
don't remember now.
you are listening to the Problem Solving Realtors here on Real Estate Radio. We do want you to call in and ask your questions, and you can do that at area code 904-222. What's the next four numbers? 222 what?
Talk.
That's right, 2222. That's 8255. tongue-tied. All right, 222-8255.
There you go.
So call us with your questions. We got lots more to talk about, including during the next segment, we're going to talk about what your home inspector doesn't do for you.
Ed Dean, Mike Gallagher, Dennis Prager, The Savage Nation, Mark Levin, Laura Ingram, WBOB, AM 600 and FM 101.1. The Answer.
With SRN News, I'm Bob Agnew in Washington. President Trump says he hopes to take U.S. relations with Singapore to a higher level. The president commented at the beginning of a meeting with Singapore's prime minister during the international summit ongoing in Hamburg, Germany. The president described the current relationship between the two countries as very close, and he said they expect to do, in his words, excellent things together. The president yesterday said he confronted Vladimir Putin about the issue of alleged Russian interference in last year's presidential election. The Russians are asking for some evidence. Germany's top security official denouncing the rioting in Hamburg during the Group of 20 summit and saying that it is the opposite of democratic protest. The interior minister lamenting what he called the street barricades, looted supermarkets, and attacks on police with slingshots. He says were unbounded excesses of violence, which should not be done. This is SRN News.
Make excellent happen. Only at New Balance can you get athletic footwear apparel and accessories with highly trained New Balance fit specialists to make sure everything is exactly right. If you're having a hard time finding comfortable shoes or have a hard-to-fit size, your answer is at the New Balance store. New Balance in Orange Park and Beach Boulevard features full-service sit and fit locations. Both New Balance stores have a full stock of running, walking, baseball, cross-training, and tennis shoes. You'll find sizes 5 to 18, widths AA, B, D, EE, 4E, 6E, plus orthotic arch supports. New Balance state-of-the-art computerized foot scanner gets the right fit every time. Make excellent happen at either New Balance store, 195 Beach Boulevard, open Monday through Saturday, 10 till 6. Call 620-0483 or 1871 Wells Road across from the Orange Park Mall. Open Monday through Saturday, 10 till 8. Call 592-7892. New Balance, athletic footwear and apparel for all ages.
We moved to Phillips Highway across from the Regal Theater. Hi, I'm Jeff Martin from Martin Appliance and More with more great news. I've added construction services to Martin Appliance with my new company, Greystone Kitchens, on Phillips Highway. You've trusted me for GE, Frigidaire, and Speed Queen appliances. Now, as a licensed contractor, cut me loose in your kitchen. Cabinets falling apart, colors from the dark ages? Time to upgrade with the best cabinet deals in the history of the United States of America. We moved Martin Appliance and Greystone Kitchens to 9456 Phillips Highway, half-mile north of the Avenues Mall, right across from the movie theater. Visit our brand-new kitchen gallery for appliances, cabinets, and decorating perfection. Click on GreysstoneKitchens.com. See just how quick and easy I can remodel a kitchen. Add a pantry, remove a wall, I can do it all. I'm a licensed contractor, for crying out loud.
What you see is what you get. Martin Appliance Family.
Martin Appliance and Greystone Kitchens on Phillips Highway across from Regal Theater. Honest and able.
State license number CRC 1330991.
Are you worried about working till you drop, losing your job, or not being able to retire? Lifestyles Unlimited members learn how to leave those worries behind. Tune in to the Del Walmsley Radio Show and discover life-changing information, like the principles we use to provide for our families and run our businesses, why you should have real estate in your portfolio, 5 ways real estate makes you money, and a whole lot more.
Weeknights at 9 on WBOB, AM 600 and FM 101.1. The Answer. Stuck in traffic? WBOB has The Answer.
We have some planned construction on the Main Street Bridge headed north and south, so be aware of that. All lanes are blocked. As far as weather goes, it's heating up, folks. It's now 82 degrees, expected to heat up to as high as 97 today. You're listening to WBOB, The Answer.
Let's return to Real Estate Radio with Angela and Howard. For answers to your North Florida real estate questions, call into the show at 222-TALK. That's 222-8255.
Welcome back, everybody. So excited you're still with us after our station break. We appreciate it. We're having fun here today in Real Estate Radio.
Man, you just got a mouthful out there.
You know what? I'm
What?
happy.
You're happy?
I had some coffee and I'm happy.
All right. Well, you know what we're going to do now?
We're going to talk to somebody on the telephone.
We're going to talk to Met. Good morning, Met.
Hey, good morning.
How are you today?
Absolutely wonderful.
I love it. How can we help you today?
I had a question about buying a home. I had a foreclosure eons ago, like probably over 15 years ago, and it's no longer on my credit report. But I'm interested in buying another home in the $100,000, $150,000 range. Is it possible to find such a property without putting anything down or maybe having seller financing involved?
Why do you want to do seller financing?
I don't know, so I don't have to put any money down, really.
It's very difficult to find a house with seller financing.
Even with seller financing, they want you to put money down because you're a risk to them. So like someone who wants seller financing, they know they've got the upper hand, that they assume you can't get a mortgage.
Right.
So that is why.
Okay.
So here's a different option. Could you consider going to a county that has
Bond
is a little
money.
well, either he's already owned it. Do you own a home now or you don't?
No, I've been renting since then, since the 90s.
Oh, okay. So you would qualify for bond money. So that's an option.
Depending on your income.
That could be your down payment. Or you could go to a rural area like St. Johns County or Clay County, and you can potentially qualify for a USDA loan, which is also 100% financing.
Okay.
Yep. I assume you didn't serve in the Navy or something because you would already know you could do a VA loan. Is that right?
I was in the Navy before. That's when I bought my first house. I used part of that certificate that I got when I got out to buy that home.
Okay, well, you can do a VA loan. As long as it's not tied up in a house right now, you can use VA.
Oh.
Yes.
Zero down payment. Thank you for serving.
Yes, thank you for serving. Aren't you glad you called today?
Thank you. Yeah, I am glad because that gives me another something to look into.
Yes. Now the bigger question is, do you have a realtor?
I do not.
Now
I think
you
do now. If you want to work with us, we'd be happy to work with you.
Okay. I'd be interested in looking into it a little bit further. Absolutely.
Okay. Great. Well, what we'll do then is we're going to send you back to our producer, and then he'll take your name and telephone number, and then we'll call you after the show. I don't know if it's going to be right after because today is kind of heavy for us, but we'll call you tomorrow maybe or later.
Tomorrow, Sundays. Sunday's fine. That's fine with me.
Okay. And so we can just call you, and then we can talk about all the possibilities because really, even if you stayed in Duval County, is that the county you're in?
Yeah, I'm in Duval.
Okay. So if you stay in Duval, you're VA, and you get bond money, and depending upon how much you make, you might even qualify for money from the county. If you do all that coupled with the VA, oh my goodness, you're going to buy more house than you think you can afford.
Well, that's another thing, too. I don't want to, even though let's say, for example, I can afford a $250,000 house, I don't want that size of house. I'd like something half that,
So you're smart, too. I like that. There's no need to be house poor. Howard and I, we don't believe in that. We don't try to push people up in price. We want them to eat and go out and have fun and, not be house poor. So that's awesome. That sounds great, Matt. All right. So we're going to send you back to Cody, and he'll get all your information, and we'll call you tomorrow. Okay?
Cody's our producer.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks for calling. We appreciate you listening.
You're welcome.
All right.
Have a great day.
All right. You too. Bye-bye. All right.
So exciting. This is why we do what we do, to help people.
Yeah.
I mean, that is a simple, to us, that's a simple question and answer, right?
All right.
Because we know of ways to get 100% financing.
I want to tell Cody about a house. Now, I'm not sure that he's going to be interested in this one.
Cody?
But I'm not Cody.
Met?
I want to tell Met about
you can sell
this
me
house.
A house too. I mean,
I will sell you a house.
This one is a special one, and I'm not sure that either Met or Cody will be interested in this one, but there's an interesting story associated with it. About 2 years ago, we told you about a house in New York that straddled two different counties. So imagine one that straddles two different states. So in which state do you declare your state of residency? Which state do you pay property taxes in? Which state do you vote for governor? Yeah. Now, that was in two different counties, but imagine if it was two different states. Well, there's a house in the state of Vermont. Well, actually, no, it's in Quebec, Canada. Actually, it's in both. So that's two different countries. And now it's on the market.
Okay, now that sounds a little bit much, right?
Well, think about this. By the way, it's $109,000. That's U.S. dollars, not Canadian dollars.
Right.
And although you have to pay closing costs in both Canada and the U.S., as well as pay property taxes in both countries, there are a few more issues to consider in buying this early 1800s house as well. You see, one of the exterior doors has a couple of them. It needs to be bolted shut at all times. You see, if you step out, listen to this.
Okay.
This is true story. If you step out of one of the doors, or if a guest does, you're subject to being arrested. You see, that door leads into Canada. And you step out into Canada, or you allow a guest from Canada in without going through the Border Patrol, then that person is in trouble. Now, fortunately, Customs and Border Patrol offices for entry and exit into both U.S. and Canada are located right across the street. So now the current owner, he has citizenship in both countries so that it's easy for him to go into both countries pretty freely, and therefore he can cut the lawn around the whole house quite easily.
Right.
Yeah, so they suggest that the buyer also have dual citizenship so that he can easily cut the lawn around his whole house.
So, okay, so the question then is, even if you have dual citizenship,
yeah,
do you have to keep the door bolted on the Canada side?
Well, they are requiring that you keep the door bolted because you could have a guest.
You don't want it to be a pass-through to people to get over the border?
Yeah, because if you have a guest and they, let's say you are in the U.S. and the guest is a U.S. citizen.
Right.
And that guest accidentally opens the door and steps outside. That person hasn't gone through customs.
Right.
That person can be arrested because
bad.
they're illegal crossing, or vice versa.
Right. That's very interesting.
It is really interesting.
I wonder if there are other homes in that area that, have the same kind of problem.
And the history of the house is that when it was built in the 1800s, the owner built it over the border on purpose to supposedly create a nice feeling between the two countries.
Oh, and now there's customs out each door, right?
There
so
really
how nice
is
that feeling?
It is
and
right.
I would think if you buy that house, you have no privacy because they are always going to be watching you and seeing who's coming and going at your house.
Well, and it really is across the street from a natural border crossing area. So there are people, there are cars going by all the time, stopping where people go into and out of the country. Yeah. Right there.
It doesn't sound desirable to me. In theory, it sort of does, but the reality of it doesn't sound pleasurable.
And they really, by the way, they really do. Where was I going with this? I'm having a brain fart here.
They really do something.
They really do. Oh my gosh, what was I going to say? Oh, they really do.
Live radio.
They really do pay taxes, pay property taxes in both countries on the house.
Well, how big is this house anyway? Because the price is only $109,000, so it's not much.
Well, it's actually a fairly large house. It has 6 bedrooms and 4 bathrooms.
So the price is artificially low because you have to pay taxes in both countries?
I don't know, but it's only $108,000. It does need a little fixing up.
Oh, well, maybe that's why it's $109,000.
But they don't call it a fixer-upper. It just needs a little updating.
Aha.
So, but for $108,000, you could have a house where there's a story to tell, and I'll bet, Angela, that you would be happy to be the realtor on that house. Although maybe you don't want to travel up there.
No, I'd have to get licensed up there. I could go to New York, though. My sister's in New York. I could go see her.
I don't know. All right, but when we come back, we are definitely going to talk about the things that your home inspector does not check. It does not mean that they're a bad home inspector. It just means There's some special training needed for some of these things. We're going to tell you what those things are.
Do you know the show's almost over?
Oh, my. Well, we got a whole other segment, so don't leave us.
Because
we got some interesting educational stuff to talk about.
And our open houses.
Infotainment is here when you stay with us and come right back. We will be right back. How many seconds do we have? Oh, we got 10 seconds. We got so much more to talk about in 10 seconds. We'll still answer your questions, 222-8255, and we will be right back. Everybody stay with us. We're going to have a great time. Good morning, WBOB listeners. It's your realtor on the radio, Howard Vergalis of Watson Realty Corp. Angela and I want to thank you for tuning in with us for our 5th year now. It's been such a great pleasure to be on the radio with you, giving you advice on buying and selling, as well as answering your questions on the air. Thank you so much for the trust that you have in us as professional, experienced realtors with over 20 years of combined experience. We want you to know that when it's time to sell your home, we want to be your realtor. We will focus on your home, your family, and your time frame. Our team will customize a marketing plan to give you the best exposure to get you the best price and have the best selling experience possible. Whether it's a condo or a house, a short sale or a regular sale, a $200,000 home or a mansion, you will get the same great service. Call us at 421-7950 and join the multitudes of others that have experienced the Angela and Howard Team Advantage. There's finally a mortgage lender in Jacksonville that sees financing differently. With 20 years experience, CMG Financial understands that the most important purchase in your life, your home, deserves the right mortgage. Tim McConnell at CMG Financial will work to customize the best financing option for you. Angela and I recommend CMG Financial to all our customers. Give Tim a call at 528-2103. That's 528-2103. CMG Financial is a registered trade name of CMG Mortgage, Inc., NMLS number 1820, and licensed as a mortgage lender servicer by the Office of Financial Regulation, number MLD 375, individual MLS number 181046. One of the most critical parts of buying or selling your home is the very last process. That's the closing process. Angela and I recommend Watson Title Services. They have the experience to handle any issue that can come up, and there is never an upfront fee to the seller. Whether you are using a realtor with the sale of your home or not, always ask for Watson Title Service to handle your closing. We do. Call them at 461-3220. That's Watson Title Services.
Angela Walker and Howard Vergalis of Watson Realty Corp. not only come to you every Saturday morning, but they would also like to work with you when you need them the most. That is, when you need to buy or sell a home. They pride themselves in giving you their very best effort every day and in every way. There are many realtors in the First Coast to choose from. Let them show you the Howard and Angela Team Advantage. Call them at 421-7950 or email them at realestateradio@yahoo.com. This segment of Real Estate Radio with Angela and Howard is brought to you by Watson Title Services of Northeast Florida. For answers to your North Florida real estate questions, call into the show at 222-TALK. That's 222-8255.
Welcome back, everybody. You're not allowed to speak before me.
Wait a minute.
Don't do that. That's not the way I like it.
Well, if you're holding up on things,
you know,
if you're
it's
not
Real
looking
Estate Radio with Angela and Howard.
So Angela comes
Howard
first?
Exactly.
But you're
I
not
get
looking
to talk first. I get to do anything I want first.
But you're not looking at the little light to say we're on the air.
I was looking in there to see when Cody was going to put us live.
Oh, so you're checking out Cody? Is that what you're doing?
No, I was giving him the signal. Go live.
Go live. Okay, Here we are live.
We are.
Okay, so do your intro.
Welcome back, everybody.
There
so
you go.
Excited to have you here on this happy Saturday.
It is a happy Saturday.
It is a happy
you're
Saturday.
You're having a great
I'm having
time.
a great time.
So the segment that we're doing now that I've been talking about for 2 segments already is Bet You Didn't Know. Things your home inspector does not or cannot check. And one of the things is they don't move heavy furniture. So, if there's a big piece of furniture blocking a outlet, well, obviously they can't check that outlet. So they can't check them all if they don't have access to them. Another thing is if they see mold, Well, some mold is okay. Like cheese is obviously mold, but they don't know if they see mold whether it's toxic mold or not. That needs to be sent to a lab. They can only say that they see mold.
I have a good guy for that too.
You got a
Anybody needs that service, I've got someone who's really
You
good.
got a guy.
I got a guy.
Yeah, some of these things need specialists. Like fireplace and chimney, they certainly go and check whether the damper can open or close, but they can't check the entire flue all the way up to determine if there are any cracks. Now, a chimney guy...
Called a chimney sweep.
A chimney sweep. They have special equipment. They have cameras that can actually go all the way up and down the chimney to check for cracks. So sometimes with a very old house, we recommend that be done. You have another one, Angela?
Well, pools, of course. So there's always an extra charge to inspect a swimming pool. And, they're going to turn on the system. They're going to see if the pumps work, if the heaters work. But rarely will they do a pressure check to determine if any leaks are in the pipes.
Yes, that's rarely done. When you have a new pool installed, they do a pressure check. It's part of the inspection process when a new pool is installed, but it's really not done for pools on resales.
I will tell you, I have an excellent pool company, though.
You got a pool guy?
I got pool guys.
Okay. Also, if you have a well and a septic system. So a well inspector can inspect the entire system as well as test the water for excessive contaminants. Now, they can't do that on site. The county, by the way, can do the testing for no cost. You actually take it downtown and they can do that for you. Now, to inspect the septic system, it actually needs to be, you got to find where the cover is. It's usually a few inches or a few feet that you have to dig down, and the septic companies know how to find it. And then it's first pumped out. Now, some people, pump out their system once a year, once every 2 years, once every 5 years, or they've never done it. In fact, they have no idea where it is. But to inspect it, they find the cover, they take the cover off, they pump it out, and then they visually inspect it, or they go in with a camera to see if there are any cracks or anything like that in the big cement chamber. So that's their way of inspecting that. And each of these inspections cost about $250 for the well and the septic. One of our customers is doing
the
this.
Septic, they tell you it's $250, but when they get out there, it's about $400. It's $400. It's $650. They upcharge every time.
Really?
Yeah.
So it's bait and switch? Is that what you're saying?
It's just an upcharge. I can just tell you it's happened every time.
Oh, well.
And then what are you going to do?
I don't know.
The lid's off the tank. I mean, you're sort of at the mercy of them because it's one fee to pump it and it's another fee to inspect it. And that's how they get away with it.
That's true. There are two different fees.
But that's two different things.
But that's valid. And it should be pumped out every once in a while anyway, just to see that, everything is working. And
it depends on how many people live in your family. I mean, how many people live in your house. I mean, and, how big the septic tank is, how frequently you should have it pumped anyway, just for everyday living. So,
all right. It's going to be a very warm day today. And when it's warm, it's time for other things. It is. That means it's time for our hot deals of the day, which means also that we are having a couple of open houses, which means that we want to meet many of our listeners.
Oh, yeah.
So
let's talk about the opens today.
The opens today.
Yeah. So the opens today. And you and I aren't working tomorrow because we both have buyers. But today we're doing open houses at two different ones. So I'm going to be in Eagle Harbor.
You are.
Out in Clay County, off County Road 220. Go down Lake Shore. You'll find the greatest neighborhood called Daniels Landing. In Daniels Landing, which is only like 32 really beautiful houses.
All custom houses.
All in the $400,000 to $650,000 range. Is the house where I'm going to be. So it's 2415 Daniels Landing. And that house is underpriced, actually, at $499,900. And It is amazing. It's like 4,000 square feet. It's 4 bedrooms, 3.5 baths, formal living room, formal dining room, big family room, largest kitchen
It has
you've ever
big
seen.
everything.
Yeah, it's like a Texas-sized house. It really is. So it has the rooms you need, and then all the rooms are large. Has a lanai, has a 3-car garage. The little enclave of Daniels Landing has its own private dock. So there's like 8 boat slips, and so some of those homeowners own those boat slips. This house doesn't own one, but there's still 2 empty slips that you can use from time to time.
There you go.
Not for overnight, but just to come during the day. And it's just an awesome, awesome, beautiful home, kind of southern charm. You got to come see
Front porch from one side of the house to the other.
Yes. I feel like you need
Beautiful,
lemonade or
beautiful home.
sweet tea and sit in a rocking chair. And
So they can come see you today from
12 to 2 today.
Okay.
And you're going to be.
And I'm going to be at a lower priced house that was reduced a couple of weeks ago to $225,500. It's on Village Way in Orange Park, just off of Kingsley. This is a brick 1980 vintage home with a brand new roof that was put on about a month ago, and it has a couple of really neat features. A cathedral ceiling that goes up to about 15 feet in the family room with a stone fireplace, floor to ceiling. It has a blower built into it, so it's really efficient to get some heat into the house in the winter. And then, if you really want something different, you open up the 2 doors and go out to a huge Florida room and step down, not step up, step down into a built-in hot tub.
Yeah, it's nice.
You can do that from that room or from another set of double doors from your bedroom.
Yes.
So this is like a spa house.
Party house.
And even in this
party house,
Florida
but
room,
for grown-ups.
even in this Florida room, they have skylights in the ceiling, of course.
Yes.
Of course, that's why there's skylights, because they're in the ceiling. But anyway, so this house is so well maintained from
solid built brick house.
Brick.
I love that. Yeah.
Say it with
and the garage
say
is
it
in
with
the back.
force. Yes.
And the garage is in the back with like that side entry curve. I love it. It's
Beautiful
really
curb
nice.
appeal.
Brand new roof. Brand new.
Yeah. So really
Gotta get
nice.
that sold.
Yeah. HOA is voluntary. $75 a year.
Yeah. I mean, this is a very desirable neighborhood. You have to come out and see us. What's that address?
Separate living room and family room. Okay, the address is 1684 Village Way. 1684 Village Way. So come and see me. Okay, we're going to have a contest, Angela. The contest is who gets more people? Do they want to come see you or they want to come see me?
Me, of course.
No, me, because my house is cheaper.
But I'm more fun. You said are they coming to
let's
see me or you? They're going to pick me.
No, they're going to come to see me. My house, by the way, my house is 2,300 square feet. So again, 12 to 2, both of these houses. Okay, we got another house. Oh, we don't have time.
We're out of
By
time.
the way, the Van Wees are standing by, and they're going to be live as well. They're going to talk about what happened in this short week on the financial sector. So we want you to stand by for them because they give some great advice. They love to take phone calls from all the callers. They have a lot of customers that call in, and
it's all good.
It's all good. We hope that everybody has a wonderful week. If you need us, you can call us after the show. Call Angela at 465-3845. That's her private personal cell phone number. Or call me at 687-8161. I'm going to repeat that, 687-8161. You guys have a great week. We're going to have a better week if one of you call us. Take care, everybody.